joining us for another edition of Tiger Talks. This is a program that was created to connect alumni with the district and the district with the alumni, as well as the community. The purpose of Tiger Talks is to see where our Tigers go after graduation. Some have become doctors, lawyers, fire chiefs. So in this month's edition for July 2022, we have Mr. Brian Swift. He is an alum from the class of 2001 from Warrensville Heights High School, and he is currently back working as the athletic director for the high school. Now, before I get carried away, I want to introduce myself. My name is Saida Terrence. I'm the alumni coordinator for Warrensville Heights City School District, and this is Tiger Talks. So without further ado, here is Mr. Brian Swift. Take it away, Swift.
Saida, thank you for that eloquent introduction. First, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to this great platform that Miss Saida has developed here in the district. It's always good for alumni to connect, and this gives us a way to share our stories and give back and show, where we are, where we've been. And I'm hoping that we'll get a lot more alumni to participate in this great thing. So Saida, salute to you on this great platform that you put together for us. Again, my name is Brian Swift. Like Saida said, I graduated in 2001 from Warrensville Heights High School. I'm from Warrensville. I was born here, started school here in kindergarten with Miss Bruner, God rest her soul. Back in, 88, 89, something like that. I went to Westwood Elementary School, K through 4. After leaving Westwood, I went on to Randallwood, which was 5th and 6th grade. Then I went to the junior high, 7th and 8th grade. And after 8th grade, I took a detour. I didn't go to the high school. I went over to St. Peter Chanel High School in Bedford, which is now closed. My reasoning for leaving Warrensville was more athletic related. I was playing basketball and things like that, and decided to make that move to go over there and play. I actually won a state championship as a 10th grader. I was actually the Division III Player of the Year in the state of Ohio. In 1999, our team actually won a state championship. We was 26-0. We went undefeated. And after spending 3 years at Chanel, my parents, they allowed me the opportunity to come back to Warrensville to finish high school. I actually, just to people, a lot of people don't know, I actually wanted to leave Chanel after 9th grade to come back to Warrensville. But, my parents said, listen, you made the decision to leave. You staying now. You know what I mean? So I remember one day I was coming from summer league, and me and my dad was riding down Miles. I grew up on Lee Heights, by the old Value City, for those that know. And I was coming from summer league, and I was asking my dad, please, I want to go back. I really don't like the school. I miss Warrensville. I miss my friends and things like that. He told me no. So I cried for about 5-10 minutes in the car before I got to the house. But one thing I will say now, I think it was a good thing for me to stay for those years that I did stay. Obviously, kind of branching out, I learned a lot. Chanel's a different environment. Obviously, it was a Catholic school, so different rules and things like that. But it helped me grow as a person, to be around different people, different ethnic backgrounds and things like that. So I am appreciative now when I got grown of the opportunity to do that. But all in all, I was very, very happy to come back and finish my high school career at Warrensville, where from a athletic standpoint, we went. I know in 2000, there was a state championship here, won by all my guys, all my friends. In 2001, when I came back, we actually went back to the state championship game, but we ended up falling short to a good Kettering-Alter team. So through those years of playing in high school, I had a lot of schools recruiting me all over the country, offering me scholarships and things like that. But I decided to accept a full ride scholarship to the University of South Florida down in Tampa. So after I graduated, I went down to Tampa and I played at South Florida for 4 years. And at the end of my 4 years playing at South Florida, I actually decided I wanted to give it up. I didn't think about, I didn't seem to have a opportunity that I would say I was going to the NBA. Obviously, always as a kid, you grow up playing basketball, you want to play professionally. So I really didn't see that in my future. So before I graduated, I started a company. It was called Truth Basketball, and Truth Basketball is a training service that I began in 2005. And my idea was I wanted to kind of take all the things that I had learned throughout my career and in college. I wanted to give it back, to the kids in not only Warrensville, but just the Northeast Ohio area, because training back then, it wasn't a thing. We didn't grow up with a trainer where we can go to the gym and train for an hour, and our parents are paying for that and things like that. We didn't have that here in Warrensville and in Cleveland, period. So that was something that I really wanted to bring back to our area and do, because down there you saw that. I saw a few guys that played in South Florida with me were doing that in Florida. So I said, well, shoot, this is something I think that I can bring back. I had a name. A lot of people saw me growing up playing basketball, so I felt like it was a market for it here. So I brought it here. My first place that I came, obviously, is Warrensville, was home. So, I had Mr. Stevens was the athletic director at that time, Phil Stevens. So I approached him. I came up to the high school and I asked, hey, I want to kind of give back. I want to do some training sessions. I want to offer a camp here at the school. So, he allowed me some gym time and things like that to pursue it. And it worked out. We started training a little bit. I did that for probably a couple months. And during those couple months, after graduation and being back home, I moved back home the summer of 2005, playing in men's leagues and things like that. A lot of the guys ask, so Swift, what's next? Like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm just going to train. I just started a biz. I'm going to train, just kind of give back to the young guys and things like that. So a lot of those guys thought I was crazy, because, my talent level and things like that. And to be so young and to stop pursuing a dream or anything, they just thought it was foolish. So I decided I was going to play. Continue to play. And at that time, I decided to try to get connections to play in Europe, to play professionally over there. So that's what I did. I took a few months. I started working out again. I started getting in the gym, trying to prepare to get an opportunity to play. So I got my first opportunity. It was about, I think, October of 2005. I got an opportunity to sign with a team in France, the south of France, in Antibes, France, which is on the French Riviera, for those that know geography here. So my first year, I was in the south of France playing, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I spent about 8 months playing in Antibes, and the next year I signed with another team, which is in Bourg. It's Bourg-en-Bresse. Is in France. I don't speak French, so please don't ask if I know any French. I don't. So French is a tough language to learn, but as you there and you hear it a lot, you kind of get an idea of what they're trying to say, just because you get used to it. But Bourg is actually about 45 minutes to an hour from Geneva, Switzerland. So I was kind of on the eastern coast of France, which is about 45 minutes also from Lyon, France, is one of the biggest cities in France. So I played there my second year. My third year, I played in France again, a city called Quimper, which is on the northwest region of France. I played their entire season. And once I came home, I got an opportunity to go to a different country. My fourth year, I played in Finland. For my fourth year, very cold. It's near Russia. It's up there with, I think it's the Scandinavian area part of the world. Very cold. It snows probably like 7 months out of the year. But that was a good experience. I actually liked Finnish people a little bit better than French people. So I think they're a lot more friendly. So my experience there, it was pretty good. And after spending my fourth year in Finland, my fifth year, I got an opportunity to go back to France. And playing a town called Brest, which is also in the northwest part of France. And I played there. I think my last year was 2009, 2008, 2009 was my last season. And being overseas, being away from my family and friends and things like that, although I had a great time and I got the opportunity to pursue my dreams, playing professionally, making money playing basketball, I just felt it was time that I wanted to do something different. So I came back home. It wasn't 2009. I think it was 2010. I came back home, 2010. And I kept continued to train. I continued to do that. I wanted to really get that going. But one thing that I found hard was finding a consistent place to train. So that was I was bouncing around at different gyms and things like that. But having a home is something that, you could really, really have a home base. It can help your business, but I didn't. So I was all over the place and things like that. And throughout that time I was playing, every time I would be home in the summer, I would still be here at the rec. I would be in Open Gym. I would be doing this. I would still stay connected with Miss Dean, because everybody knows Miss Dean. You got to love Miss Dean, show Miss Dean love. Here in Warrensville. So I would always be here at the rec. She would have me run the gym while I'm here, just open gym with all the guys and things like that. So like throughout the summers, again, Mr. Stevens was the AD. He would ask like, hey man, what you think about coaching? What you think about, coming back? Nah, I don't want to coach. Like, that's not my thing. Kind of like the same thing I would say I didn't want to play professionally. So, but at that time I said, no, I'm still playing. I wasn't thinking about coaching, blah, blah, blah. So again, fast forwarding back to me being done playing, I started training and things like that. And I never forget, one day I was at Lifetime Fitness. I was speaking with Mr. William Johnson, who is now Sonny Johnson, Juby Johnson, who's alum, Michi Johnson, who's alum, their dad, and also Mel Burke. Two guys I look up to, two of my mentors. And we were having a conversation at Lifetime Fitness. And they asked me, so why don't you coach? Why don't you go back and coach? No, I don't want to coach. I just want to train. I just want to try to, train a lot of kids around the area just to give back in that way, not just Warrensville. So they're like, well, no, listen, if you coach, you could do that there also. The light bulb went off. Makes sense. So that same summer, well, now I think it's fast forward to 2011 now, I approached Mr. Stevens. Mr. Stevens, listen, is it still an opportunity to, you have a coaching vacancy at the high school? And of course he said yes. It was, he was kind of happy that I came to him with it, because again, he had approached me a few times, while I was still playing. So when I approached him about it, he was ecstatic, and the rest is history. So 2011, I started coaching here at the high school. Also, I started substitute teaching as well, just to kind of get some consistent work during that time. So I started substitute teaching. Going back to South Florida, I did get my degree. I graduated with a finance degree, because me going in finance, ideally, I wanted to do investment banking. That was my goal coming out of high school. I wanted to go in investment banking, but obviously I didn't use it for that. So, but I did have a degree, so I was able to substitute teach. So I subbed all over the district, 2011, 2012. I coached the team. 2013, the district opened back up. I think they brought back, what's it called? In-school suspension. So because they had let it go for a while, so they brought back in-school suspension. I applied for the job, and I got hired for the position. So now I was working in the school every single day. Instead of just periodically, depending on if a teacher was out. So I'm in the building every single day. I'm still coaching the team. My second year coaching the team, we were fortunate enough, we won the district championship here. So that was a very proud moment. We had a lot of support. We went to the regional final. We lost to eventual state champion, St. Vincent St. Mary, by 7 points. So the city was just ecstatic just to kind of get that pride back for Warrensville basketball, because basketball here in Warrensville is huge. It's been huge for a long time. So just to kind of bring back that sense of pride, I mean, that was a wonderful thing for me to do. And then the next year, the athletic director at the time, she actually went on like a leave. So the HR director at the time approached me, hey, would you be interested in this position if this goes through, because I don't think it was official that the AD at the time was going on a leave, but it was kind of backdoor chatter. We family, so I'm going to keep it real with you guys. So some backdoor chatter going on about that. So it actually happened, and the opportunity came, and I accepted. So my third year, 2013-14, I was the acting athletic director. So I was interim athletic director that year. And I think February of 2014, I believe that's when the resignation was put in by the previous AD. And then I interviewed for the permanent position, and I got the job. So I've been officially the athletic director since 2014-15 school year. So during that time, again, I didn't have a master's degree. So I was actually serving as the coordinator, athletic coordinator, because I didn't have that master's. So I actually decided to go back to school. I went to OU to try to get my athletic administrator master's degree. So I achieved that. I did that. Started in 2015. I got my degree in 2017. So I was actually got my master's then. And then I became the actual athletic director here in the district. So proud of that. I remember my cousin, Anita Crawford, for years and years and years, she was telling me, you need to go get your master's. You need to go get your master's. But as you all know, sometimes when you get done with doing something, it's kind of hard to get yourself back to go to school. And, you know, I had graduated in 2005. So that was 10 years later that I ended up going back to school. And I'm glad I did, because it was a wealth of knowledge that I did learn from that program that helps me to this day in this position. So on top of actually being an athletic director, I was still coaching the team. So that was a double duty. And obviously me being a basketball guy, like it's a lot that I put into it, a lot of time and effort that you put into it, trying to, you know, make a program go and make a program respectable in the area. So we had a lot of success in my 10 years of coaching. We won over 100 something games. I don't know the exact number. We have 2 district championships in that 10-year span. Actually, the COVID year, we actually were heading to the regional final game, but COVID shut us down. So we were 1 game away from going to Columbus again. So that would have been a thing, but the pandemic just, it's still a stain on my heart because of that, you know, but I got to live with that every single day. So, so after 10 years of coaching, I decided I wanted to just try to, you know, give it back. I got married in 2019. So I've been married 3 years. And my son, 7, he was born in 2016. So now he's 6 years old. So and I have 2 daughters as well. And I wanted to kind of give a little bit more time to my family, especially mentally, because you put so much into the sport and to other kids, you know, you want to try to, you know, give that mental space and mental time to your own kids as well. So, you know, I'm still the athletic director at this time, but I had to step back as far as the basketball coach, just to kind of relieve some of the added stress that comes along with coaching. So I kind of help out here and there, you know, with the guys and things, but I just needed to give the seat to someone else. Yeah, that's pretty much, you know, my journey. I also do other things as well, like outside of being athletic director. I'm also in real estate. I do real estate investments. I have some other things working on outside of my career as an athletic director. So it's just, you know, it's just great. My life has been great. It's been great, you know, coming from Warrensville. Obviously, you learn a lot of different things coming from here, just knowing a lot of different people, and then seeing people come from here and do great things it's a must. I feel like I did it when people go and have success, because again, we all come from the same place. We all kind of seen a lot of the similar things. Not everything is the same, but a lot of similar things. So, you know, I'm just proud to really, really be a Tiger. And I'm proud to be back and just giving back, you know, to a place that I came from, because, you know, people have their journeys. My teachers, they had their journeys. Now me, I have my journey. So now I can share my journey with not only you all, but all these students and staff members every single day to help inspire the next Brian Swift to be greater. And that's what I believe that part of my calling was to do. So that's why I'm here, and I'm happy to be here.
Great. Thank you so much, Swift. That was very enlightening. I didn't know you went to Chanel for 3 out of your 4 high school years, but I guess we have that in common, because I was supposed to attend Chanel I ended up going to NDCO for 2 years, and then I transferred my junior year. So we have that in common. That's so nice.
Yep. And we used
Okay.
to play NDCL. Sorry, we used to beat up on them a lot. So, but listen, it's all love.
It,
Like, it's all love.
it comes with the territory. So now we'll begin the questions portion of Tiger Talks. I'll begin by offering some questions to Swift, and then the audience will be able to ask some questions in the chat or just straight over to Swift. So our first question is, when you were a student in Warrensville Heights, what was a crucial lesson you learned?
There's a few. But honestly, one of the main lessons that I learned is preparation. And it really hit me once I left. Because I was one of those kids. I was a good student, but I didn't apply myself to the fullest. Like my sister, she's on here. My sister was National Honor Society. She applied like she was all that when it came to athletics, academics, all that stuff. I could have been that, but I didn't apply myself. And a lot of it because I didn't prepare myself the way that I should have. So once I got to college and I learned, oh man, like you have to prepare. So that was one thing. Again, I learned the lesson. I just didn't apply the lesson while I was in school, but I tried to apply that lesson, once I got to college and beyond, because again, once you prepare for things, again, you tend to have a lot more success, when you prepare for what's coming.
That's excellent. Okay, now one thing I did not know was that you played in Europe. So I have some questions about that. Upon going to Europe to play basketball in varying cities and countries, what was a major cultural shock that surprised you?
Man, listen, just the way they live. But just to tell you a quick story. So my first day in France, the team, because I came late, the season had already started. So it was about October. I came on a Friday. The team was off. They went to play an away game, things like that. Or the general manager of the team was Yugoslavian. So Yugoslav, Serbian, Croatian in that area. So he was Yugoslavian, but he spoke French. Didn't speak a lick of English. A lick of English. So he picked me up from the airport. He had to sign, Brian Swift. We really couldn't talk in the car because he couldn't speak English. So he got me from the airport, took me to like a store. It's kind of like a Walmart. It's called Carrefour. It's a store in France, similar to like a Walmart. Took me there. I got passport pictures taken because there you have to have like basically like a visa to work. So I had to get passport pictures taken so I can do my work visa and things like that. And then I had to register with the league in France. So he took me there again. We really couldn't communicate. And my first, the place that I lived, it was almost like a dorm, if you will. It was like a dorm room. And when I got in the dorm room, like, if you will, like I learned how like their beds aren't like ours. A queen, but you got to put two beds together. I don't know if you guys ever traveled to Europe and seen hotels and things like that. It was different. Like the way of living was just way different. And in the south of France, is it's a lot of rich people there. So it's a lot slower. It's a lot of older. The culture is a lot older there. And in 2005, obviously we deal with the similar things here, racial things and racism and all that and stuff like that. So you deal with certain things like that as well. And I didn't necessarily get a lot of that, but I know some of my teammates did do that. So that was the thing. Obviously, the language barrier, that was a shock. And then just the way they lived and drive and the smaller cars and driving stick. I learned how to drive a stick. They gave me a car, you know what I mean? So all those different things. And then again, that same night, I'm there all by myself. Like the team is gone. I don't have any teammates because you had a few Americans on the team, but they were gone. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a TV. So I felt like I literally wanted to cry the first night because I felt like I was alone in the world because I didn't have anybody to talk to. You know what I mean? So, and again, I'm 22 years old, all the way on a different side of the world by myself. So, that was a very, very, interesting time in my life. But like I said, it was great. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, I could see how that could be a very jarring experience to begin with, but I'm sure, like you said, you adjusted well over time and you played for so many years. So I think obviously you were able to swim in that sink or swim situation. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, another question I have is there a difference in how it feels to win as a player versus as a coach?
A little bit, yeah, it's
Mhm.
different. I think for me, I've always been a competitor since I was young. But for me, and again, having the success that I had as a player, obviously, you know, the time that I came out, I was one of the better players in the area, better players in the state, and things like that. So that competitive nature I brought to coaching. Because like I said, my time in Warrensville, we had success. It's one like probably it is the most successful era that we've had. Like, you know, in 2000 and 2001, those 2 years, I was on 2001, but those are the two most successful years in basketball history here. So to be a part of that, you know, that's what I know. And even when I went to Chanel, I was a part of a winning culture in basketball. So coming back to Warrensville, I wanted to really bring that back, that pride back of winning and understanding what winning feels like. Because a lot of our kids, you know, they didn't understand what winning felt like, and they didn't
Mhm.
understand, you know, what it would mean to the community when it win. Because again, when I win, the community wins. You know what I mean? That's just the mindset that I've always had. So me now as a coach, it was more so about the kids feeling the success and the kids winning than it was for me winning. And like I said, as a player, it was like, listen, I want us to win, me and my teammates. But as a coach, yes, you want to win, but it's about I want to see the kids win, and I want this community to feel that again, what we felt back in 2000, 2001.
Okay. No, yeah, it seems like you've grown more selfless in the position of a coach than as a player was like it's about me and the team. For you, it's about the team and the community, which I really respect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because I think a lot of times, like I said, as a coach, like how I played the game, I was an unselfish guy. And the guy, people that watch me play, I'm sure they'll vouch for that. So it was always about us, not really about me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even as a player. But again, I wanted to win bad.
Yeah.
So, but it was always more about the group than it was about Swift. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I like
Yep.
I said, that's just who I've been. That's who I am. I think that's who I'll always be.
Okay. And then I just have just two more questions before we open it up to the audience. All right. What would 12th grade Swift think of present day Swift?
Man, listen, well, I would probably say to my 12th grade self will probably say to me that I'm probably a lot more like my dad now than I was. Like you've grown to be a little bit more like, your dad than you would have ever thought. And again, I love my dad. God rest his soul. My dad passed in 2017.
Mhm.
Um, but my dad, like he taught us a lot in a little bit of words. Like my dad was one of those guys, he taught us how to think. So I didn't get into a lot of bad situations because I thought about what the consequence would be before making a decision. Now, I didn't always make the best decisions. I was in some situations and things like that over time. And a lot of my family's on here and they still don't know. But again, some of the thought process that I had a lot of times, it allowed me to kind of steer clear of things going really, really left. So a lot of those thought processes and things like that, even on the financial aspect, like my dad kind of taught us certain things,
Mhm.
like how to save money, like how to save, like 12th grade Swift. I get it, hole in my pocket, money's gone. 22, 23-year-old Swift, money's gone. So as I got older and more mature and understanding certain things, I started applying them. And I think what really helped me was the birth of my son,
Mhm.
like meeting my wife, and it's like my mindset changed. So now once my mindset changed, it was like now I started seeing why my dad did what he did and why he, was how he was when it came like to financial sense and things like that.
Mhm.
So I think, like I said, speaking from 12th grade, so I would have said like, man, you a lot like your dad, and you wouldn't have thought that you would be, so, but I do appreciate the things that he taught me by example. But that's what a lot of it was. It was by example, man. He was a great man.
Oh, that's really wonderful. And I'm so glad to learn that bit about you and your father. And
Mhm.
I'm sure that anyone that's been coached by you or knows you or has even like met you once can really vouch for you in that way. Um,
Mhm.
so my last question before I open it up to the audience is, what is a sport or initiative you would like to see in the district?
Sport wise, I would
Mhm.
love to see soccer.
Yeah.
Playing in Europe, I learned to appreciate the game.
Mhm.
Obviously, like I said, in Warrensville, we never had like a soccer team, soccer program, and things like that. So to go to Europe, obviously, soccer is the biggest sport in the world. Um, so to see the love of the game and how the game is played worldwide, it was so crazy. I'm talking, I think 2008, I'll never forget, in the barbershop, I had them guys watching like the World Cup, like soccer, like in 2008, and it's like every 4 years now it's like, oh, the World Cup on. So now like you
Yeah.
kind of exposing other people to a different game. So I think soccer is something that I think our students would enjoy, and I think our community could be good at it. And that's the one thing of sport wise that I would love to see, and I'm gonna try to implement here in the very near future here in our athletic department. So that's one thing. But one other thing that I would like to see just in Warrensville in general, I would love to see like the continued development. Like I would like to see like newer housing developments, even more. I know we've had a
Mhm.
few, but newer housing developments, and I'm gonna explain why. So for people, I would think, and again, this is just my opinion. My generation, a lot of us, we grew up in Warrensville. Some of us grew up in Cleveland, certain size homes and things like that. But a lot of us are becoming a lot more educated. A lot of us are making good money, and we want things. We want nice size houses. We want 25, 3,000 square foot homes or more and things like that. And I believe Warrensville could be like a very, very I mean, one of the best communities in the state. Obviously, we're a predominantly Black community. And to see a predominantly Black community that has the potential to thrive in the manner that I believe we can, like, I think it's going to take that, though, because a lot of people, you don't have the housing for people that may be making six figures and they'll want their kids to go to Warrensville because they have the housing. Because for me, I'm in the district every day, and you have people working hard and you see the improvement that's going on within the school district. So
Yep.
if you have that continued development, I believe in the city, and I think you will have, obviously with the new schools and things, that's going to attract people. But if you attract people also with those like different housing, I think that'll help everything from the city, the school district as well. So for me, I would like to see that more in Warrensville, because I think that'll trickle into the district as well.
Okay. No, thanks, Swift. And I think a lot of people in the community, and even outside that are just know Warrensville in any way can say the exact same thing and share the sentiments that you just shared with us.
Mhm.
Okay, so now in the chat, or if you unmute yourselves, we can ask Swift some questions that you may have that I may not have asked, or just general curiosities or praise. If you want to offer compliments, I'm sure Swift
Mhm.
won't mind. Don't be shy.
Please don't ask some questions. I know it's some questions people want to ask. Go ahead, ask. It's fine. I'm happy to share.
I'll ask one. I'll be first. So, I guess maybe high school. It can be high school, middle school, or whatever. What teacher from Warrensville like impact you the most, and like, or those thoughts or things that they had spoken to you during or throughout the school year that helped you and you still remember now today?
Great question. So it was a few teachers that I would say really impacted me. One first, I'll say Karma Coley. Obviously, I had Miss Coley only for one school year because it was my senior year. She taught ACT prep. But like I said, I've been around. My brother graduated in '93, my sister in '96. So I've been around Miss Coley for a long time. But to be a high school 18-year-old senior, hearing some of the jewels that she provided, like it was what I needed. And honestly, I'll say this publicly, like I was very sad when Miss Coley got moved from the high school, because I think she was a big asset to people like me, especially athletes, and getting the mindset, getting you right to prepare for the next stage of your life, whether that's college, whether that's the workforce, whether that's the military, whatever it is. I think she just provided a lot of a lot of that, what we needed to hear, especially boys. You know what I mean? Because Miss Coley, she don't hold punches, and she still don't to this day. So I think that's something that, you know, was valuable in me moving on to you know, the next phase of my life. And I stayed in contact with Miss Cole. I would send her every city I went to in Europe. I would get a postcard and send it to her because she collected them. So I always sent her postcards to every new city I went to, games I play, all that stuff. So Miss Coley, I would say, is number one. Number two, I would say Miss Garrison, my 8th grade English teacher. Miss Garrison, God rest her soul. I know she passed a few years back, but Miss Garrison, I'll never forget, for 3/4 of 4, me and Miss Garrison literally argued in class every single day. She was my honors English teacher, and we are, because I talked a lot. I was talkative, I talked, I played, I was silly and stuff like that, but I got my work done. But every day we argued. But the 4th quarter, for whatever reason, we just became like best friends, like overnight. I don't even know what happened, what conversation took place or what, but we became best friends overnight. But one thing Miss Garrison taught me, and it took me through college and everything, is how to write. And writing was a big thing for her. And I'll never forget the saying that she said when you write an essay. She had 3 things. She said, tell me what you gonna tell me, and tell me what you told me. That was pretty much the basis of how you write an essay, or you write a, you know, whatever assignment that you needed to do. That was the format. And I used that format all the way through college, and it worked. You know what I mean? So like, that was something that I never forgot. And again, that was something that I utilized. And again, she was one of those people that I stayed in contact with as well. And the third, I would say, honestly, Miss Marguglio, my 8th grade science teacher. Like, I love Miss Marguglio. She was a very, very no nonsense person. Like, she knew her stuff. She taught us different things about science that I didn't appreciate then, but I appreciate now. Like, my wife would tell you, like, I watch like the sci-fi movies and different space things and stuff like that I'm interested in. I kind of was interested in then, but I didn't really hone it and go forward with it until like now, which I don't do anything, but I'm interested in stuff like that. So those, I would say, are my 3 teachers that I would say that probably left the biggest impact on me. Come on, y'all, listen, I need some questions. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Kenneth Atkinson, close friend to Brian Swift and the Swift family.
My God.
I don't really have no questions because I know all the answers. But I just wanted to say thank you to you, your family. You know, I see your brother on here, your sister on here, your lovely mother, you know, your father, God rest his soul. You guys taught me a lot from afar. As you say, your father was a man of many words, but he taught a lot. He taught me a lot by not even talking to me, right? As far as everything else, thank you for, you know, giving me the opportunity to come coach at Warrensville. I graduated in '99, and my story was a lot different, but you know, you trusted in me to come in and, you know, help with those kids, because I think that you knew that I would love, you know, to help those kids, and that would be, you know, everything for me. It helped me grow up. You know, I had my, like you said, we had our issues and I had my things, but for the most part, you know, it helped me grow as a man and as a father, as a friend. And now I'm at the elementary school, right? Had it not been for you believing in me, I wouldn't be at the elementary school now, doing what I do there, having a big presence. So I just wanted to come on and say thank you, you know, and to the Warrensville community for opening your arms to me and things like that. I just wanted to say thanks, bro.
I appreciate it. Can I tell y'all a quick story about K-Mac? So, again, like my last year at school, I used to come home from Florida every summer, but it's like, I think the summer before my last year, I was coming home from school. So I asked K-Mac, can you come down to Tampa so you can help me drive back home? So I used to leave late at night. So at night, so I can drive at night to come back from Tampa to Cleveland. So because I was home for like a month and a half. So I wanted a car. So I would drive home. So can you come to Florida so you could drive home? K-Mac came, we went to open gym, we hung out with the team and everything. He played, all that stuff. So now, okay, it's time to rest. Okay, man, we got to drive like tonight. It's time to go to sleep. So Kenny, he wants to stay up. He wants to play the video game. He wants to, hang out with the guys a little more, So I'm like, okay, all right. So now we wake up. Tampa to Cleveland is about a 20-hour drive, y'all. Guess how many hours Kenny Atkinson drove, guys? 2 hours. So I drive 18 hours from Tampa to Florida because he wants to stay up. He drove for 2 hours and got too sleepy. So we had to pull over, I think, in like Virginia to sleep. I had to sleep for like an hour or so just so I can get up and keep driving. He slept like a baby. So that's my friend right there. His name, y'all see him, Kenny Atkinson. That's my friend.
All right. I noticed, Mr. Robert Swift Jr., you had your hand up. Did you have a question for Swift?
No, I don't have any question. I
Oh,
just want
okay.
to give some praise to my brother. And Brian, you know, every so often when we do talk, you know, I always tell you every now and again of how proud I am of you. And also just, you know, growing up and just seeing your evolution, you know, just you being the man that you are, you know, you've always been your own person. I think growing up, you know, the three of us, you know, we all have our distinct, you know, personalities, but yet strong personalities at that. And I just can't say enough how proud of you that I am of you. And then also just, you know, I'm just stuck right now because I'm just, like I said, I'm so proud of you and the man that you've become. And also wanting to give back to Warrensville because we've, you know, growing up, you know, it was a very, a lot of parental involvement, you know, and I just appreciate you wanting to continue that tradition of, you know, having, you know, the inspiring the parental involvement with the kids in the community. And also, you know, you imparting, you know, your knowledge and wisdom, not only just about playing on the basketball court, but just also just grooming and inspiring your young men to be productive in this world too. So yeah, I could say more, but I think this is it for now. I'm always root for you. I'm gonna forever be proud of you no matter what. So I love you.
I love you too, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions for Swift? Comments? Any more words of praise?
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Mr. Womack. So if you weren't coaching, what would you be doing? What would be your other dream job? You weren't working in the athletic department.
So honestly, like the one thing that my goal, I like to eat. Just so let's start there. I like to eat. I like restaurants. I like stuff like that. So my goal in life, and one of them, not the mango, but my goal, I want to open up a diner. Like I love like mom and pop diners and things like that. So I really, really want to open up like a staple. Like if you come to Cleveland or anyone comes to Cleveland, you got to go to Swift's Place. Like that's my goal because again, I just like places like that. I think you have a few spots in Cleveland like that, but my goal is to like that entrepreneur spirit comes from like, I got it. Like my grandfather, he was kind of in that. He worked at GM, he did it, but he also did other things like in real estate, which like I said, I kind of followed in his footsteps with that as well. But that entrepreneur bug is in me. So again, that's why I do like real estate investing as well. But also that is something I'm really, really interested in having my own like breakfast, lunch diner. That's something I think I really want to do.
Count me in. I love it too. And I like mom and pop places from scratch kind of
I
place.
got you. I'm writing your name down.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know, what is your personal mantra?
Dang, that's a tough question. Honestly, I wouldn't say I necessarily have a mantra. I live by. But what I do believe, I believe that whatever comes my way, I can overcome it. Like, you know, I can get through anything. Like, you know, I believe in God. Just to put it out there, I do believe in God. And I believe that, like, God instilled in me enough power, will, and understanding that whatever is, like I said, I'm faced with. And I know we could say no weapon formed against me shall prosper and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But I truly believe that, like, anything that comes my way, I can overcome it. It may be tough for a minute. I may have some downs. I may be frustrated. I may be hurt. I may be sad, but I'm strong enough. I have the will to continue on and not get defeated by whatever. So I would just think, like, it's always one foot in front of the next. Just keep it going. Like, that's the main thing. Whatever happens, just keep going.
Okay, that was great. Mr. Freeman, you had a question?
Yeah, well, it's a question and it's a actual compliment. Now, Brian and Robert and Robin, they like my little family. That's my family. So they grew up and they seen, you know, when I went to college, played at Warrensville and everything. But Swift, I'm so proud because when I came back home and you were in 7th going into 8th grade, I didn't know you were getting that good in basketball. So I had a couple guys around the Cleveland area said, man, this guy Swift, this Swift. And I'm like, well, I got a Swift that live on my street, but they kept saying, he about to go to Chanel, man, this Swift. And I seen you play like your 9th grade year. And I was like, that's my boy Swift. So I'm in Chanel jail. I mean, I'm in the Chanel gym and they, you know, braggadocious. And then I started bragging. I'm like, yeah, that's my dude. That's my, you know, I was trying to take credit for some of your athletic proudness.
Right.
But, no, that was proud to come back. But what we doing at Warrensville and what Brian Swift is doing, Superintendent Jolly, me and the mayor Brad Sellers look at Warrensville, and a man told me a long time ago. He said, well, he told me, you know, you're gonna come back, and Brad Sellers' mom Jean too. She said, you and Brad's gonna come back to that city and change it. And I was like, I'm not having no parts of Warrensville. I'm going to Colorado. I'm going to get me a ranch. I'm going to stop playing in the National Football League and I'm going to retire. But to come back home and to see the legacy that me, Brian, Kenny, all the educators, Robin even had a part of it. That's what it's about. So I always preach it to Superintendent Jolly and I'll preach it to you. It's about our legacy. And that's what we do it for. But I'm so proud. So keep doing it. I'm very
appreciate it. I appreciate it. And speak to that, like I said, being in this position, it's tough. It's definitely tough. And the reason I say it's tough sometimes is because, again, with you being an alum and you being here and you working and you really in the trenches, giving back and trying to you know, move the ship forward, you know, people that aren't inside and going to work every day, like, everybody's going to have an opinion. You completely understand that. But myself, like I said, when you sit in a leadership position and you're tasked with, you know, taking a program from one place and moving it forward and continuing, you know, it's tough, especially when, like I said, you're from there. So the expectation becomes different. Some of that you put the pressure on yourself, but then other times, you know, people view things from the outside looking in. Oh, you could do this different. You should do this. You should do that. But if you've never been in that position and you've never done that, like, it's easy to talk about that. What should be done? What's this? What's that? But if you're not there and you're not, you know, working in that every single day, listen, I say, listen, let the experts do what they get paid to do, you know, and everything has been in the last 7 years has been going in the direction that we needed to go.
Right.
All right. Well, that was wonderful. And I think our last question is in the chat from Ms. Jocelyn is for you, Swift. What platform do you advise are best out there for exposure for unsigned seniors who wish to continue playing basketball after high school?
Honestly, right now, social media. I mean, you have so many, like, social media outlets, and you got YouTube, you have, like I said, Instagram, you have TikTok, you have so many things that a lot of, you know, college coaches and scouts, they look at, they view. So like I said, when we were playing, you didn't have any of that. Like, it was more so word of mouth, the newspaper, maybe some video footage, but mostly you had to just be there. So now I think utilizing what's available to you, because again, some parents back then they would send tape, but they put the letter together, put their tape and send it to a college. Now you don't have to do that. You could just upload it to the computer, put it up on YouTube and blast it out. You can send an ad to every single coach that you would like to on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. So like social media is just, it's so powerful, and it costs nothing, to do it. And then also a lot of times you have, a lot of content creators who can come out, they come watch games, they put highlights together, they do this, they do certain things like that. So utilizing, I think, those methods of exposure, and it's free, to utilize that. But obviously just kind of talking with coaches, getting connections with coaches, not only just, the high school coach, but also AAU coaches, just getting those relationships and things like that. I think that's the two main avenues that I would suggest just using. But like I said, that social media, I would be blasting that stuff on a regular basis.
Okay. Well, thanks, Swift. Does anyone have any other questions? We're coming up on 8 o'clock. It's almost time for us to wrap. So any other questions, comments, compliments? Please don't be shy. All right. Okay. Well, I just want to thank you all for tuning into this month's edition of Tiger Talks. Oh, okay. Okay. 1 second. Ms. Womack, question, comment, compliment? I see your hand is up.
No, that was just an applause that I was having.
Okay. It looked like a hand was
I'm still
raised.
learning. Yeah, that was just applause
yeah.
to Mr. Swift.
Okay. Great. Oh, well, thank you. You have really good questions as well. But again, thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Tiger Talks and just supporting this program that's really great. I really want to connect the community with alumni and with the school district. I think it's important for everyone to see where our alumni can go, where they've been, and what they're doing. And I'm a proud alum from 2017, so yay.
I'm sorry, I got one more thing to say.
Oh, by all means.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you. Brian, also what I failed to say earlier is that in your position, just your journey, I believe that any young man, young lady, you're that guy. I'm not saying, to diminish athletes or anything of that sort, but you are an inspiration, just what you do and, your leadership, your vision, things of that sort. So you are that guy.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. And a lot of it, like I said, I'll end it with this. I know Saida, she was closing out, but like I said, just to kind of talk about that, I'll end it with this. Like a lot of the again, like my household was my upbringing was phenomenal. Like I said, I had both my parents, I had a brother and sister. Just the lessons that I learned from them. My brother is 8 years older than me, so he had some things that he went through, he experienced. Like I learned from being the youngest, you get to kind of step back and see things from an angle that everybody doesn't. My brother being the first one, it's different for him. My sister being the next one is different for her. But me to kind of learn the things that they went through, the hurdles that they had to, get over, I kind of seen certain things coming because I seen what they went through and I seen what it was like as you get older. So, and then also seeing other people in my neighborhood and the things I was exposed to and people I was exposed to, man, a lot of that shaped who I am. And again, coming from Warrensville, everybody, that's from here, like Warrensville is a special place. Like you go anywhere, and you talk to a Warrensville person, that pride just shines through, like, you know what I mean? Like no other. So, and it's a family, guys that we went to school with that were going to college, everybody clicked up. Oh, you from Warrensville. It's a special bond that Warrensville people have, similar to East Cleveland. But Warrensville is just, it's such a tight knit family. Like it's something that, like I said, I can't even describe it, but a lot of things that you really get, little nuggets that you really don't realize that you're learning as you get older, you apply those things subconsciously once you're in the real world, You know what I mean? So like I said, I would love to, I wouldn't change living in Warrensville, growing up in Warrensville for anything. Like, it's the best community in the state to me, and it's getting even better. I would just like to continue to shout out all the alum that's doing great things. Any way that you can give back, if you're not working at the school or been any way that you can give back, whether it's monetarily, whether it's coming back and speaking for 30 minutes or 10 minutes, or whether it's becoming a pen pal with a student, or anything that you can do to give back, like it will go a long way. And people don't realize, like, well, how do I give back? How do I do this? How do I do that? Like, it's as easy as making a phone call, sending a text. What can I do? And trust me, an answer will be given. And trust me, it will go a long way. We need more alumni to really, really get involved, because something special is going on. And when it happens, again, everybody's going to want to be a part of it. So again, like, now is the time to really get involved and really feel better about seeing, like, really getting that ship to like I said, where it's going.
Okay. Thank you, Swift. I think that's a great way to close out Tiger Talks, really. I think you said everything that I could have said better and then some. So I want to thank you for coming to be this month's guest. I'm so glad that you came, and we learned so much about you. And I'm really proud to say that I know you and that we're both graduates of Warrensville Heights High School. And everyone else that came, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Again, this is a monthly program that usually occurs on the last Thursday of every month. So please keep an eye out on Warrensville Heights City School District's Instagram or Facebook. I also have a Tiger Talks playlist on YouTube. It's on the same YouTube channel as everything else that the school district does. So please keep an eye out. And lastly, we're planning for the final awards next May, next Memorial Day weekend. There's a lot in store. There's an open house. There's going to be a prom. There's going to be a all-class reunion. So please keep an eye out. Please stay engaged, and please let us know what you think. So thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for coming to Tiger Talks. Have a wonderful evening.